Bliss is not the type of movie that simply tells a story. It's one that changes our perspective on the world, and I'm going to tell you how that's the case actually. So the movie was made in 1997 by Lance Young. Two of the main actors are actually Cheryl Lee and Craig Sheffer. So Cheryl Lee we know, or I do know, from Twin Peaks, this very dreamy world, epic dreamy world. I mean epic, very famous Dreamy World by David Lynch. So she plays Laura Palmer in there, and it's a very central character, which is very cool to have her here. Craig Sheffer is an actor who plays in Yes Man with Jim Carrey. So I'm going to get back to those two, the Twin Peaks and Yes Man later on in the presentation. So the story revolves around Joseph and Maria, a couple who actually seems to be quite happy overall, but one day she opens up to him and confesses that she never enjoyed being with him much. It's never been very enjoyable for her. Joseph is quite shocked, as one could expect, and ends up confronting his own limits, and will end up discovering that intimacy is more than just a physical connection. Well, he does find out about that through the help of a kind of an odd therapist, and played by Craig Sheffer. So a few elements in the movie that I found quite interesting and quite central, that really did stay with me after watching it, is that intimacy in itself in the movie is described in a very subtle manner, very humane manner. It's not vulgar whatsoever, which I'm very grateful for, as it is. It's an interesting way of they have an interesting way of portraying it in the movie. So very respectful. Bliss allows us to understand that to connect deeply, one needs to really find this sort of a subtlety, really. Another thing that really did stay with me after watching the movie is that the movie really has a rhythm of its own. The movie takes its time, explores what changes in the characters, and the revelations really come at the proper pace, at the right time in the movie. It's a very well thought out movie about deep topics, really. So in this sense, it kind of like, to get back to Twin Peaks, it really echoes. There's this kind of a depth to it, as in Twin Peaks, and here again, Cheryl Lee plays a woman who's kind of like torn between her desires and her past. So that was kind of an interesting way of reconnecting with this sort of character that I really did enjoy in Twin Peaks. Craig Sheffer who plays in Yes Man, also has a kind of a therapist slash guru type character. He plays on Yes Man to Jim Carrey's what's his name, Carl, in the movie. So to a lesser extent, there is also this parallel. But Twin Peaks was shot, I think, in 1990 or 1989, while Yes Man came out, I don't know, in 2010 or 2009. So it's there's quite a bit of distance between those movies, the movie series, and Bliss as a movie. So why does Bliss really deserve to be watched, in my opinion? Well, it's a movie that really stays with the person who watches it. It touches something quite essential in terms of its message culturally, and that's something that one really finds. I find it very relevant in this channel that I dedicate to cultures, given that it really opens up to important human questions without giving easy answers, and without pushing them to the viewer, so pushing its opinions. So really a movie that's more than just watching a movie. It's a kind of a contemplation on our own relationships, on our own feelings, and who we are as people. So it's a very deep, but yet light-hearted movie, and not very. It's not very well known overall. So I think it's really well worth your time.